Today we're diving into the story of Sawdah bint Zam. She's a really pivotal figure in early Islamic history, but maybe one you don't hear about as often. Her life is just this powerful lesson in faith and character, and as you're about to see, her influence is still felt today. So let's just jump right in with a question. Have you ever wondered whose personal story is directly tied to the divine revelation of the hijab? You know, one of the most defining practices for Muslim women? Well, the answer is Sawdah bint Zam, and her story is absolutely fascinating. To really understand her impact, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning, back to her journey as an early believer in what was, frankly, a pretty hostile world. Now, Sawdah, she came from the very respected Quraysh tribe in Makkah. But what's really amazing is that she and her husband, Sakran bin Amr, they didn't hesitate for a second. They were among the very first to embrace Islam. And you can imagine the kind of courage that took back then.
You know, her early life was just one huge test of faith after another. Right after becoming Muslim, she was forced into exile in Abyssinia. Then, when she finally gets to return to Makkah, which is still very hostile, she faces another immense trial. Her husband passes away, leaving her all alone as a widow.
But it's right here, in this period of deep hardship, that a new, pivotal chapter in her life begins. Her marriage to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This marriage happened at such a crucial time. The Prophet was grieving the loss of his first wife, Khadija, during what's known as the Year of Sorrow. I mean, he was completely heartbroken, but he also had a practical need for someone to care for his young daughters and manage his home. So when a companion named Koala pointed out his sadness, he explained just how big of a void Khadija had left. He said, you know, she was the one who managed the entire household and took care of the kids, and it was Sawdah who was proposed as the person who could step into that absolutely vital role. And of course, she accepted the honor. The marriage took place in Ramadan for a dowry of 400 dirhams. This was a union that brought stability to the Prophet's household, and, for Sawdah, it elevated her to the incredibly esteemed position of Mother of the Believers. Okay, so this brings us right back to the question we started with, this moment where her personal life intersected directly with a divine revelation. Now, this is really important to remember. At this point in time, the specific commandment for hijab hadn't been revealed yet. The social norms for how women dressed and carried themselves in public were just different. So the story, which we find in Sahih Bukhari, goes like this. One day, Sawdah, who was known for being a tall and easily recognizable woman, went out. A prominent companion, Umar ibn al-Khattab, saw her and made a remark, basically hoping for stricter rules of privacy for the Prophet's wives. Well, Sawdah felt really uncomfortable about it and went straight to the Prophet. And it was shortly after this very personal incident that the verses establishing the practice of hijab were revealed.
But you know, she was so much more than this one historical event. Her historical significance is totally matched by her incredible personality. So let's take a look at the character of the woman behind these events.
For one thing, she had a fantastic sense of humor. After a particularly long prayer, she made this little joke to the Prophet, and the sources say he just smiled. It really shows you the warmth and the ease of their relationship. In this quote, this might be the most powerful testament to her character there is. This high praise comes from Aisha, the Prophet's other wife. For one wife to say something so admiring about another, wow, it speaks volumes about Sawdah's pure heart and her integrity. And her generosity? Oh, it was on a whole other level. I mean, legendary. The story goes that Umar, when he was caliph, sent her a big bag filled with dirhams, a really significant amount of money. Her response is just fascinating. She didn't see it as wealth, not at all. She saw it as something to be distributed immediately. Her question, like dates in a bag, it shows that she instantly thought of giving it away, just like you'd share a simple bag of fruit with people. And that is exactly what she did. Right then and there, she gave away every single coin to the poor and needy until the bag was completely empty. Her attachment to this world was just next to nothing. And this kind of selflessness, it really defined who she was. As she got older, she famously gifted her allotted day with the Prophet to the younger Aisha. I mean, what an act of pure generosity. And that's exactly why Aisha praised her as being free from jealousy. Sawdah's actions just proved it over and over. All right, so let's wrap up by looking at her later years, which were really defined by one thing above all else, complete and total obedience to a command. During his final pilgrimage, the Prophet gave a very specific instruction to his wives. He told them that after this, they were to remain in their homes. It was a command meant to preserve their honor and their special status after he was gone. And Sawdah, she took this instruction with absolute seriousness. Her own words here show her conviction. She said, essentially, "I've done my Hajj and Umrah, now I will not leave my house," seeing it as a direct command from Allah. And she stayed there, in her home, until her death. So when you put it all together, what an incredible legacy, right? She was a steadfast early believer, a wife who brought so much comfort to the Prophet when he needed it most. She was the direct catalyst for the revelation of hijab, and just an unparalleled model of humor, generosity, and, in the end, ultimate obedience.
Sawdah bint Zam's life wasn't defined by battles or politics. It was defined by a quiet but incredibly profound devotion. And it leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. How can just one person's journey of faith and simple obedience echo so powerfully through time, shaping traditions for millions of people across centuries?